Yeah, very good morning, good afternoon, very welcome, warm welcome to this channel. This is KR Tech, and this is our .NET Core Zero to Hero series. Uh, day one, we covered the basics of .NET. What is the difference between .NET Framework and .NET Core, and what are the benefits of .NET Core, and we discussed how we create a .NET Core application with the step by step, and how we publish and how we hosting the .NET application with the using of the C Sharp language, and we discussed some of core concept of CLR and reflection, garbage collector, global assembly cache. This concept in the last session. Today we will cover the some advanced topics in the .NET Core. Let's get into the video. This is Day 2 C Sharp Advanced Concept. The overview of C Sharp Advanced features like concurrency and new capabilities. C Sharp have some operators and conditional statements, if and else conditional, and operators like equal to, double equal to, triple equal to, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. I hope you know this all small things like double equality equals to comparing, single equality is assigning the value, triple equality is checking the comparing the value, but the two values data type and value is same or not, and less than or equal to, it is the whether the valid value is less than or equal to A or B. So that those are the uh, condition statements, and condition, if coming about conditional statements like if condition and else conditions, if and else conditions, switch case, and while statement, and these are the conditional statements, and for loop, and for each loop, while loop. These are the loops in C sharp. Mm, and coming about main concept in the C sharp, like OOPS, object oriented programming languages. Like in the OOPS, with the using of OOPS, we can create application uh, we can create a real time application with the using of OOP concept. Uh, if you follow the whoops concept, our application, uh, we can create our application with a small piece of code, and we can reusability, we have a security, and we have integrity, and we can override and overload with this concept. We can create applications with the using of OOPS. In the coming about OOPS, we need to know like what is class and what is object. A class is a blueprint of object, and object is an instance of class. like if you are building in a if you are manufacturing in a class, we need to take a initial diagram. So that diagram is comes under the class, and that car, if you wanted to manufacturing the car, we need required engine, and we need required uh, brakes, and we need to require tires, and we need to require some metal. So these all are objects. Objects are nothing but instance of a class. This is the best example of class and object. And coming about OOPS, like abstraction. Abstraction is nothing but hiding the uh, data, show only what is necessary. hiding the data and show what is necessary. Like suppose I take an example of like a car. The functionality of a moving car is like when we are starting the engine, it will move the car one place to another. But how the exact the implementation is happening, that we don't know. Like a driver or a human, like if you are turn on if our in our tank fuel is there, whether fuel is there, if fuel is there, whether the car is working or not. So that we will showcase outside, but how it will work and how the engine will start and what are the things to start the engine and what start that car, that all things we are hiding to the in like a driver or a user. So that is called as a abstraction. And in abstraction we can create as abstract methods. And abstract method is partially defined. uh, Abstract class is partially defined. If you want to implement abstract class, we can take as an inheritance, and in that we can implement remaining. It is a partially defined class. Inheritance means acquiring the parent properties to child. Like in real time, acquiring the parent property to child. In real time, like our grandparents and our parents' properties have some. We have authority of those lands. Like if suppose like. Mm, a person have 10 acres of land, and his sons also is responsible for the 10 acres of land. So that is called as an inheritance. With the using of inheritance, we are we don't need to again and again implement the methods. Like in our parent class, if we have one method like start method, whether the car class or whether bike class, the functionality is same, so we can use that start method in bike or a car, in aeroplane or anywhere, because the actually functionality, like when we turn on a switch or when we turn on lock, automatically it will run. So we don't need to implement separate start methods and stop methods for each and every thing, like a car and a bus and a bike. So that is called as a inheritance. And polymorphism means like one to sorry one second. Polymorphism means many forms. um, like it means like many forms, and it occurs when we have classes are that related to each other inheritance. That is called as a polymorphism. Like it have multiple forms, like many forms, acquiring the one class to another class with the using of inheritance. This is called as a polymorphism. In polymorphism we have a two important concept are there, that is like compile time polymorphism or runtime polymorphism, or otherwise we can say dynamic polymorphism and static polymorphism, or we can say method overloading and method overriding. This interview can ask any type, but answer are same. Like compile overriding means nothing. Overriding and overloading means like overriding is method name is same, but parameters are different types. Like I have a method A and method B. But in method A, I used as a int and uh, I used int variables. And another method name is also same, but in that I used like a string variables. So that is called as a method overloading. Method overriding name means like method name and method signatures are both are same. So that is called as a overloading. We can use with the overloading. Uh, the method names is same, but we have significance are different. So with that we can implement the functionality with the using of overriding. We can use the in like we can implement our one logic in into our parent class. With the using of overriding, we can change the method functionality in our derived class. So that is called as overriding. And finally, encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but wrapping data into units. So it is also hiding the data, like hiding the security information. That is called as a encapsulation. Once again, I will Google it. Process of grouping and wrapping the variables methods into single unit, also known as a calls. It has protection on the organization. Some restrictions have access to some of objects of components. So that is called as a encapsulation. And next, asynchronous programming. Asynchronous programming means parallelly executing the program. That is called as asynchronous programming. We can discuss with these topics detail in this session only. Like if it goes to the this MS Word, like I mentioned, I declared this async and await. Async and await is a keywords in the C sharp. Used to simplify asynchronous programming. Asynchronous programming means parallelly execute methods independently. They make working with asynchronous code much more readable and easier to write compared to traditional callback programming. Async keyword is used to mark the method asynchronous. An asynchronous method is typically perform input-output bound operators such as the database calls, file reads, web request without blocking the calling and thread. This is called as asynchronous keyword. And important, an asynchronous method must have written task or task list or the value task. Await keyword is inside asynchronous. It is used to inside asynchronous method. It indicates the execution of methods should be paused until await asynchronous operation finish. If you are declaring await until like asynchronous operation finish, uh, it will pass the await asynchronous programming with the using of await keyword. This is called as asynchronous and await methods. This is one example of asynchronous and await name. I declared here as a class like public async task int get data async method. In that I am simultaneously calling input and output operation like web request. Await task dot delay 1000. Here 1 second I stopped, it stimulate 1 second delay, like it delays with 1 second, and I after that I returned 42. And here next public async task call get data async. Here I wrote another method. Here I declared int result equal to await dot get async. So automatically it will execution is paused until get data access complete. It will pause until this get data async completes, and console dot write line it will prints like a 42 after 1 second. So this is async and await programming. And next, TPL, task parallel library. The task parallel library is set of public types and API in .NET that enable developers write efficient and parallel asynchronous code modern multi-core process. TPL makes easier to work. TPL also is asynchronous programming, like parallel asynchronous programming. It modern multi-core, like TPL execute one by one, like if first task is completed and the second task will execute, and second task is completed, third task will execute. You can use in TPL like task.run and uh, task.run and task.t parallel, task.when all, task.when anywhere, parallel.for each. This will be used in TPL. Example, if you are taking an async task.process.async task, this is an advance of thread, like thread.start. We used threads multi-threading in C#, right? So in .NET Core, task is, we are using task, but task have some limitation compared to threads. So that is in a task. Here I declared task 1 task.run process limit 1, task.2 process limit 2, await when all task 1 task 2. Wait both tasks are finished. It will wait both tasks are finished. And public void process items int id. It simultaneously work along with, and it will print IDs. And some of the key points: use task most asynchronous method. Most of the time, task or task T is sufficient for asynchronous programming. Like in our programming, like most of the time, we will use task only. Like task, whether task or task data, list or task data array or anything. Use value task when performance matter and the method is might return synchronously. Value task is more memory efficient when the method are frequent synchronized. And use task that run is like inbound and outbound methods. Use async and await simplify asynchronous programming. It simplifies asynchronous code and making it look synchronized easily. Manage. This is an parallel programming like task data await and the TPL and value and one more thing is value task. These are the all of task, value task and synchronous programming. And next we will discuss like language integrated queries. The queries is like link you is we are using for database queries and those things in .NET framework and .NET code with the link you. LinkU also is LinkU stands for language integrated query, and In this, we are using like SQL queries, like select star from a table name, and we will get that all records in that table. So with that we can achieve, we can create, or we can get the database, database tables records, or when we want to create any new record into the table. So we are using link queries in C# programming. So that is the main use of link queue. Like, if suppose if I want to uh, fetch a records from employees table, I will just use as a select star from uh, employee details. So I will assign any variables of that query. So with that variable, I can get all the employees name in that particular employees table. So that is use of link queue. And delegates are callback methods, like in another way, like um, one second.